Hi guys, today we're going to be starting a new unit on ratios and proportions, and today we're going to do our intro to ratios. So a ratio just compares two numbers. So it compares the size of one number to the size of another. And we're looking for the relationship between them. So like how comparatively large is one to the other. Okay, so that's our example, our definition that we're going to want. And let's look at an example here. So say that there are 3 triangles for every 6 circles. And we want to know what is the ratio of triangles to circles. So one key thing you want to keep in mind is that order matters when we're asking for that. So when it says ratio of triangles to circles, triangles needs to be listed first and circles needs to be listed second. So order matters. If they had asked us for the ratio of circles to triangles, then we would just flip the two numbers once we've got it. Okay, so there's several ways that we could represent this. One would be visually, which is kind of a nice way to start so we can see what we're talking about. So it says we've got 3 triangles, and for every 3 triangles there are 6 circles. Okay, so here's our 3 triangles, here's our 6 circles. To see the ratio, you want to kind of divide it up evenly. So if I think about, if I divided it into 3 parts here, for every 1 triangle, there are 2 circles, and that holds true for the whole time. So the ratio of triangles to circles would be 1 to 2. Okay, so that's one way to think about ratios. Another way is algebraically. You can think of it, we can write it in 2 different ways. We could think of it like a fraction, 3 triangles per 6 circles, or you might see it written with these dots, 3 to 6. But either way, this is the first and this is the second item in the ratio, first, second. Okay, and then if we were going to try to get down to this ratio of 1 to 2, when it's in fractional form, just think of simplifying. What can both these numbers both be divided by? They can both be divided by 3. So if I divide that by 3 and I divide that by 3, I end up with 1 over 2. Or we could write it 1 with the 2 dots, 2. So the ratio is 1 to 2. Okay? And then we can also do it verbally or written out in words. So we could say for every 1 triangle, there are 2 circles. Okay, and so sometimes one or the other of these methods kind of resonates with your brain better. Some people need to see it visually, some people need to hear it said that way, some people need to see the fraction, but the goal is for us to eventually be able to use all of these different representations to understand what a ratio is. Okay, so we're going to try a few examples of working with ratios. I will write them out and then you can try them on your own and then unpause the video and check, okay? So the first one is at a bakery. For every 5 cupcakes, every 5 cupcakes sold, there were 8 cookies sold. And it says represent the ratio of cupcakes to cookies in 3 different ways. Okay, so pause the video, use your notes and see if you can come up with 3 ways, and then unpause and we'll talk about it. All right, hopefully you're back. So if I was approaching this, first thing I would do is underline important information. I know there's 5 cupcakes for every 8 cookies, right? It says represent the ratio of cupcakes to cookies. That's where my order comes in. So I know cupcakes has to be first and cookies has to be second. So I'll put the number for cupcakes 5 first and the number for cookies 8 second. So 5 to 8 would be one way to write it. I could also do 5 to 8 that way using the colon. Or I could use verbally for every 5 cupcakes, there are 8 cookies. Or I could draw a picture, but I'm not going to draw that many cupcakes and cookies right now. Notice that we didn't simplify this. There's nothing that 5 and 8 can both be divided by, so it's already in simplest form. So we would just use the numbers given. All right, let's try number 2. This one says there are 28 girls to 32 boys. What is the ratio of boys to girls? Okay, pause the video and see if you can figure that out. All right, hopefully you're back. Again, I'm going to underline important information. There's 28 girls, there's 32 boys. But I'm going to look at my question carefully. It says, what is the ratio of boys to girls? So boys was listed first and girls was listed second. So I want to make sure when I put my numbers in place that I do them in the right order. So boys, 32 goes first, girls, 28 goes second. Now these are both even, so I know right off the bat that I can start dividing. I also notice they can both be divided by 4, so I'm going to skip right to that. Divide by 4. So 32 divided by 4 is 8, and 28 divided by 4 is 7. So you could say the ratio is 8 to 7. You could say it this way, or you could say for every 8 boys, there are 7 girls. All right, so the order was the tricky part there. For the third one, we are just going to be asked to simplify a ratio. Simplify 56 to 124. So if I was doing this, since I'm already used to simplifying fractions, I'm going to rewrite it as a fraction. And if you're not good at finding common factors, I always start with, are they both even? If they both end in even number, I know I can divide by 2, and that's going to give me smaller numbers that are easier to work with. So half of 56 is 28, half of 124 is 62, and again, I've got even numbers. I'm going to divide by 2 again till I get to small enough numbers that I can easily see what's going on. So half of 28 is 14, and half of 62 is 31. And then if I look at those two numbers, there is not any number that they can both be divided by. So that would be my final answer there. Okay, so we're going to do the Google slide practice today. You can type your work on the side like we always do, and let me know if you have any questions.